This is a reading on Dr. Deborah Birx. I think I'm getting that right. She's the doctor on the coronavirus task force that's always standing behind Donald Trump and with side by side with Pence. She's the woman, older woman. And I feel like she came up in a reading of mine yesterday that I was trying to read on is there going to be a vaccine? And I see her as sort of a figure that's working hard toward this. She's the coordinator of the coronavirus task force. So I decided to do a read on her, and this is what I found. Queen of Swords makes perfect sense. She's sort of the, queen being sort of the head of things, and she's very smart. And so that's nice to know. So that's sort of who she is. Covered by Knight of Wands, which tells me that, she's not just a figurehead. She is working hard. She's not, she doesn't have arrogance, because Knight is sort of works for the king or queen and is not afraid to go out there and do her duty. And so I sort of see, the press conference is over and she's out there making phone calls and getting on people's backs to, like she's got her hands in everything, every part of this thing, of tackling this thing. I see these two cards in contrast to each other, and I think this is something that she's having to deal with. The Knight of Swords is on the surface. Knight of Swords is more of a warring knight. The Knight of Wands is sort of more in control, and that's how I see her. Knight of Swords is sort of like what we're selling on the surface, and then at the base is Temperance, which is like really, kind of perfect for the testing happening. It takes time, and we have to be very careful. It's not necessarily just going into battle and killing this thing. It's taking time. So she's having to sort of find the balance between these two energies. In the past, we have the Fool. Of course, I personally immediately think of Donald Trump. And the way the foolishness would have been not handling this immediately, not getting this task force together right away. Months ago, I believe we started to hear about this in December. So it took a couple months. I also think the Fool could also just be saying that America and the world, we didn't know what this was or what would happen. This is just brand new, even to a medical professional like her. Oh, and as Queen of Swords, she also handled a lot of the AIDS epidemic and sort of finding solutions and treatment for that. So she's very experienced. But in this case, we didn't know anything about this virus. And also there was, I think, a lot of foolishness that happened. That sort of got to go into the past. That's what's behind her in her work. And moving forward, I think that this is, now, I initially, because I was reading on the vaccine yesterday, but I'm starting to see this as she has a website, the Google website that I think was her idea, and she wants to get this launched. And there's some controversy, which is why I see, this is why I think it was her idea, Ace of Swords, a new idea. And I think it's a good idea if it can get launched. Judgment is because it has, so far I think it's only started in San Francisco or the Bay Area, and it was announced foolishly as this big world website that would be available to everyone. It was sort of announced foolishly, and there's judgment on that. I think there's judgment from people on her, but I also think she might be dealing with some judgment within her circle, or maybe even from the Fool himself, because I know he can do that to people. When he makes a fool of himself, he blames it on someone else. So she might be dealing with a little bit of that, even though really it was a good idea. And I think that it will be executed fully, and I'll show you why. I think that, I think hopes and fears, I think she's also working with experts overseas. I think that's a big part. This isn't just going to be something we solve in America because only Americans are the best. But we have to look to our friends in the world and how has this worked for you. So she's doing, I believe, a lot of that kind of work also, and really hoping to get some good answers. what I got for initially were these two cards at the end. Ace of Pentacles, I see this, you know, maybe I don't necessarily see this as the vaccine, but the website. I think that you're going to, and I think it's going to end up making a big difference in getting this thing under control. Page of Swords, I think she, you know, swords, I think more of as a possible vaccine, maybe beginning stages, or that she played a small part in helping to that go forward, but that maybe she'll end up being more known for this website. That, now death, of course, sounds ominous. I don't think she or anyone in the task force is going to die. Although, you know, it occurs to me that that's possible. But I think that actually this is going to help kill the virus, help kill this situation. I think maybe she, with her getting a handle on things, and getting people tested. Oh, that's probably what this is. Getting tests out there and getting, you know, this is bits of information. Page of Swords is bits of information. So I really think this website, her big idea, is going to be fully executed and help put an end to the coronavirus. And maybe that's something she'll be known for. So anyway, we will see what happens. No idea. So thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting. Bye.